One of the main draws in Lonetown is a place called the Museum of Western Film History. So we stopped in here. I do enjoy a nice Western movie, and you walk through these doors and you just immerse yourself in Western film history. You find the museum at 701 South Main Street, which I believe is 395. I think it's just called South Main Street at this part of town. Inside the museum, you're going to see an extensive collection of costumes, cars, props, posters, all kinds of memorabilia that tell the story of filming in and around Lone Pine, including in the Alabama Hills. The filming here started in 1920 with the movie Roundup, and since then, the area has hosted Western classics that have featured stars such as Gene Autry, Hopalong Cassidy, Roy Rogers, and of course, you've got a tribute to the American icon, Mr. John Wayne, in an exhibit devoted to his work and films, movie posters, clothing worn. So you can read about so many of the films that John Wayne was a part of here in this museum, from The Big Trail, Stagecoach, The Three Musketeers, The Alamo, Red River, Three Godfathers, Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, and on and on and on. This filmography list here has 154 films that John Wayne was a part of. So in addition to the area being used for portraying the Western landscape, the Wild Wild West, it's also been used to portray other areas. It's doubled as the Himalayas in films such as in 1939's Gunga Din. It's been the backdrop of Spain in the 2000s movie Gladiator, and it's even been the landscape in sci-fi movies like Rocket Ship XM from 1950 and Star Trek V from 1989. It's like a chameleon of a landscape. It can be the Wild Wild West, it could be the moon, and it's been all those things and everything in between. So in the museum, you'll visit several rooms that trace the history of filming from the silent movies to the present day. We started with viewing a short documentary that plays in a small theater that there's in the museum on site.
The Rocky Hills and sagebrush-covered flats at the base of the Sierra Nevada mountains, extending east to Lone Pine, California, and beyond, have a lengthy and illustrious movie history.
Got a bronze sculpture here of Randolph Scott, and while we can't go into it here or play it here because of copyright, you might want to check out on the music player of your choice a song called Whatever Happened to Randolph Scott. They played it at the theater here, and gotta say, it was quite entertaining. And you'll see how movies have been made through a variety of mediums. You're going to see artifacts used during filming, movie posters, toys from bygone areas, and displays of film technology. You've got a room here dedicated to the early years of Westerns, including movies that were filmed for the silent era, bunch of movie posters, photos, clothing that were worn. Interesting stuff. And of course, there's the museum gift shop with shirts, tchotchkes, books, all kinds of things you can take away to remember your trip here. And when you're done, I think just around the gift store area, you can get this sheet of paper that has GPS locations of where a number of films have been made. So you leave the theater and you drive out toward the Alabama Hills with your phone, you put in the GPS coordinate and you can visit. I think there's like at least a dozen films that they'll tell you how to get to the site of where it was filmed. Mm-hmm. We spent about 2 hours visiting the museum. You could spend a little bit more, but I think 2 hours is a good enough amount of time to devote to this museum.
So we just left the Museum of Western Movie History, and it was very well done. It has a little theater that has a little documentary show in it. It's set up really well. They section it off, and they do a really good job of sectioning off each part of history. So I thought it was really well done. A lot of good pieces in there. I liked it. We spent about 2 hours looking around. It's not a huge museum, but there's a lot to see, and it was very enjoyable. So it was a good 2 hours. And they asked for donations of $5, so well worth the price.
So put this on your list. If you find yourself in Lone Pine, California, there is quite a lot of Western film history. So if you're into Westerns, this would be a great place to visit. And now I'm in the mood to go watch some Westerns and drink some whiskey, because those two things go together.